And now let me kind of wrap it up here to talk about what I think is where we need to go from here. And one of our most precious rights is our liberty.
Amen.
Is protecting our liberty here. And we have folks here who have done that. I want to recognize all of our veterans. All of our veterans, stand up, please. These are the guys who sweated and bled to protect our liberty. It's something that we don't even hardly think about. And like I said, when I started, God has His own way of working things out, and you never know what He's really up to. A few months back, I was at a meeting out in Van Zandt County, and one of the young guys out there came up to me and said, I got something for you. And so what they said, yeah, I ran into this guy from Rockwall and at a book fair in Tennessee last month, and he asked if I knew you, and I said, yeah, and he says, well, here, give this to him. And so he handed me a book written by somebody from right here in Rockwall. Ali Masters. Ali Masters was born a Pakistani Muslim, and fortunately was raised by some relatively wealthy foster parents, sent to Texas to get an education. Came over here and he got him an education. He really enjoyed the Texas life at the Texas colleges here for a while, until he met a Christian woman who changed him. They got married. He became a strong Christian, strong businessman, very active in his church, and he wrote a book. And I would have never read it, I would have never picked it up, but because it was given to me, I was intrigued. I said, I've got to read this. It wasn't a long book. But in it, he had, and I know why God had me read it now, because I found one of the most profound statements written in there. Because throughout he compared life as a Pakistani and here in America. And he said, most Americans do not appreciate the liberty they live in because they've never been without it. Think about that, folks. How often do you think about that liberty? The liberty that the veterans you just saw stand up here, they defended that. The ones that aren't here to stand up, the ones that stood up, they consider themselves the lucky ones. They came back. A lot didn't. There's been a lot of bloodshed over this, and we have been letting our liberty slide away from us. And it didn't happen by accident. It started right in the beginning. It started before 1776. The Mayflower Compact. But the group that came here for religious freedom, to have the liberty to worship God as they chose. Our nation was founded on our right to worship our God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In it, they refer to God several times as they wrote how they were going to live life when they got here. And then along in 1776, when they put together the Declaration of Independence, the words that are in there. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are empowered by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Something we all take for granted. When is the last time you really thought about the life you have, the liberties, joys, and your right to go pursue your happiness? Now, some of them got curtailed for the last year, but then they wrap it up at the end by saying, and for the support of this declaration with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor And some of them paid that big price for it too. Many of them lost their lives because of it, and a lot of others lost their lives protecting our rights of liberty and to pursue happiness. And didn't stop there. Went on with the Constitution, made it real clear when it said, "We the people." We the people. That's not you guys, the government. That means us citizens. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our prosperity. It's not just for us, folks. It's for those that are coming after us that we have this responsibility to protect it. It's what makes me feel so proud of every one of you who stood up and said, I'm going to get involved. I'm going to help straighten out the school board. I'm going to help straighten out the city council. I'm going to work on the county. That's what they were talking about. You know, Ronald Reagan, who I greatly admire, and I think everybody in this room does, had a lot of really good things to say. And one of them was that freedom is not free. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We did not pass it on in our to our children in our bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day, and we just might be getting too close to that one day for me, but one day we'll spend our sunset years telling our children and grandchildren what it was like to live in the United States where men and women were free and liberty reigned. Because folks, if we lose our liberty here in Texas, we lose our freedom, where in the world are we going to go? Cuba? California?
No.
Michigan? No. You know, 185 years ago in San Jacinto, Texans had lost battle after battle at Gonzales, Goliad, Concepcion, Bayer. When they woke on the morning of April 21st, they found themselves kind of in a predicament. They had a river on one side, a swamp on the other side, and the Santa Anna's army that outnumbered them significantly just over the rise. They didn't have anywhere to go. So what did they do? They fixed bayonets and went over the hill. And I know all of our Army and Marine friends here understand that when you fix bayonets, you're about to get real up close and personal with the enemy. But they did that because they knew that they've been losing battle after battle, and the Santa Anna's army had gotten really complacent. They took a siesta like they were doing every afternoon. And in 17 minutes, Texas had become an independent nation.
Amen.
Because they did not quit, they did not give up, they got knocked down, they got knocked back, they got beat, but they stood out, they kept coming. For the principles of liberty. The principles of liberty live for. The principles of liberty include limited government. That is a government that's to protect our rights, not to provide us with free stuff. But a government that has fiscal responsibility of spending your money on things that are needed to protect you, not to redistribute the wealth to those who are too lazy to work. It requires personal responsibility in doing it. To protect our individual liberties of religion, speech, the press, and the one that makes it all possible, self-defense in the Second Amendment. Pauline Dietrich, a good friend of mine that started and runs the Casa Linda Tea Party and has held meetings twice a month for as long as I can remember, always ends her meetings with having people stand and repeat after her when she says, "If it is to be, it is up to me." And that is what we have here, folks. There aren't other people out there to protect your liberty if you aren't willing to do your part to stand up and help protect your liberty. I don't know what to do. That this is what I'm going to continue doing, that I'm going to be the person that I said I was. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. And when the electorate out there moves to the left, they get to elect somebody else, because I will promise you, I will not move left with them at any time. I will continue to keep the promises that I've made to protect and defend the principles of conservatism. Our God is the creator God, and without him, we don't exist. And we must return to being a Christian nation. And I promise you, I will not back up, back down, backslide, cave, or collapse. I will stand and defend those principles. I will fight them with every fiber in my body until the last warm breath leaves my cold, stiff body. Because liberty we need to pass on to the next generation. Amen. God bless America. God bless Texas. And God bless you.